not saying what we did was extortion, bribery, illegal, but how we got that passport was definitely shady business. In a previous video, I shared several tips on how to make an appointment at a Mexican consulate. But in this video, I'm going to share one key point that helped my husband make an appointment at the consulate for his passport without using the website. Hey friend, the goal with this channel is to make all things Mexico sound not so foreign to foreigners who may be living in Mexico. So whether you're just visiting, passing through, or establishing roots, join the journey and let's get mixed in Mexico. If you've been following the journey, you know that after falling in love with Mexico, I became a wife on a mission with ambition. I had goals to accomplish and tasks to complete if my husband and I were to move to Mexico and legally reside there in a home of our own, close to the coast. And because of certain laws put in place, I decided to start with getting his citizenship first. That being said, once I had his Mexican birth certificate in hand, if you've been following the journey, you also know that I took it straight to the INM office to attempt to get my residency through him, which turned out to be a fail for my first try. One of the officials at the INM office here in Mexico also told me that I needed his Mexican passport to prove his Mexicanicity. The INM official that also handled my paperwork unofficially recommended that I bring in his Mexican passport to prove his Mexican citizenship and not just his birth certificate. But we didn't have his passport at the time, so I had a lot of work to do because we were also heading back to the States soon to get other paperwork that I needed. So we get back stateside. I have a list of things I need to do. I have to get apostilles. I got to get marriage certificate, long form birth certificate. I had a lot of things to do. But I added Mexican passport to the list of things that I needed to get done. And trust me, if it's on my list, it'll get done one way or another. And I'm not saying what we did was extortion or bribery or anything illegal, but how we got that passport was definitely shady business. Unlike you, I didn't have a video that explained how to make an appointment at a consulate. I had to figure it out on my own, and it was a very hard thing to do. At the time, the website was very confusing for some reason to me. What was that one tip that I said I would share? So after many failed attempts of trying to make an appointment, I decided to pick up the phone. I called every consulate office on the East Coast until I could speak to a human. I dialed whatever prompts they had until a human got on the phone. It wasn't even the consulate appointment people. It was like the consulate's number, but it was maybe the resource department or the community resource department. I can't remember. And I can't remember their name either, but I want to say it was Hector. Let's just call him Hector. Hector, which will be important later, finally answers the phone. I let him know that I'm sorry. I know that he's probably the wrong department to speak to, but I'm having trouble working the website to make an appointment at the consulate office for a passport. Being kind and honest is always the way to go. Hector kindly says, yeah, of course, let me connect you with someone downstairs who can help. So he connects me to Rosa. I don't know what he told Rosa, but when Rosa got on the phone, she treated me like I was the president of the United States. When he introduced me to her, she asked what the issue was. I explained the situation, and she said, no problem. So we got my husband John on the phone. I think he gave her some information. She got an appointment set up. Beautiful. It gets better. So appointment day comes, we're all excited, we're gonna get this passport. We drive there. This consulate office was maybe 2 or 3 hours away from our home. We get there early, like we're instructed to do, and John goes into the appointment early. Maybe 30 minutes into the appointment, he calls me, and I'm excited. I answered the phone really excited, like, do you have a passport? And he says no. He says the lady at the counter, who we'll call Sarah, tells him she doesn't see an appointment for him. Womp, womp, womp. So I, of course, started panicking. I'm like, I know we had an appointment. I spoke to Hector. Hector connected me to Rosa. Rosa set up this appointment. I am here. This was in my calendar. I did not make a mistake, right? But knowing me, I take very detailed notes on every business phone call I make, and I take down names, numbers, times, dates, and I write down everything. So I told John, it's okay. You just stay right there. I'll get back to you in the next 15 minutes. So then I hang up the phone with him. I find the note. I find the names, Hector, Rosa. I find the dates. So I called the consulate number again. I dialed the same prompts to get me to community resources, and Bob picks up the phone. So I tell Bob, hey Bob, my name is Aaliyah. I called on this date at this time. I spoke to Hector, and Hector connected me to Rosa, and they made an appointment for my husband here to have his passport. Hector, who wasn't there that day, apparently has gotten a promotion since the phone call and was a very important man at the consulate. So Bob says, Hector made this appointment. Don't worry, it's okay. I'll go downstairs, I'll talk to Sarah, we're gonna get John a passport. I said, thank you. So I hang up, I call John, and by the time I get John on the phone, he's like, it's okay, I'm already down here with Bob. So Bob comes up to Sarah and tells Sarah, the receptionist, Sarah, Hector and Rosa made this appointment for John. He needs a passport. If Hector helped him, we're gonna help him. So then John proceeded to go in and follow all the steps to get his Mexican passport. That was our first taste of sometimes in Mexico, it's not always what you know or what you have. Sometimes it's who you know that'll get you what you need. As you follow along with the journey, you'll see we've experienced that several other times.